Hello everybody, today I am proposing to implement Microsoft Intune as MCC's mobile device management system. Because of COVID-19, a lot of employees have been working from home and they've been using personal devices as well as MCC's devices such as computers, tablets, phones to complete work from home. Employees are required to use a VPN, a virtual private network, to log into the network from home. But unfortunately, this method is not foolproof, and many employees do forget this very important step, which is logging into the VPN. Not logging into the VPN creates a lot of security issues because securities aren't part of the network. They are using network security settings, and these computers do become susceptible to malware and cybersecurity attacks. And devices as well as data can be compromised. The solution that I am proposing is to implement Microsoft Intune. Intune is a mobile device management system. It's an application that basically allows IT administrators and staff to control devices remotely. So IT staff can also work remotely, or they can be working on campus and they can be in charge of devices on campus or devices that are at home. This allows IT staff to create settings, apply these settings to all devices. They can create policies. They can force updates. They can install software, and a lot more with Microsoft Intune. This is a four-step process. It involves first obtaining a license. Then you must enroll the devices, which is essentially tethering the devices to the software. The third step is to create policies, and the fourth step is to create configuration profiles, which we will get into in the upcoming slides. So step one, obtaining a license. You'll go to Microsoft.com, and you will follow the links to get to Microsoft 365. You will click on Intune. Microsoft does offer a lot of softwares and applications, so be sure that you're choosing Intune. And you have two options. You can pick from Enterprise Mobility Security E3 or Enterprise Mobility and Security E5. So we're going to go with E5 because it offers a lot more security options. The price is $14.80 a month, whereas Security E3 is $8.80 a month per device per user monthly. Step two is to enroll devices. So enrolling the device, like I said earlier, is a way to tether the device to the software Intune, and this gives IT staff the ability to control and manage all devices company-wide without a VPN. So whether or not employees forget to log into this VPN, it doesn't matter because once the device is rolled, they're good to go. And there's two options to enroll. Users can enroll themselves, so this is a popular option used to enroll like your own device. If you're using your own personal device, you can use this option to self-enroll. It is very simple, it is very quick. You can enroll Windows devices, you can enroll Android devices, you can enroll Mac, Apple, pretty much any device out there, you can enroll it. And also, if users forget to do this, administrators can enroll their devices. And this goes for the same thing. All devices, Mac, Android, Windows, it's all covered. So either users can do it or administrators can enroll the users themselves. The third step is to create a compliance policy. And so a compliance policy is a set of standards that all devices are supposed to follow. The compliance policy only checks to see if devices are following it. It can't enforce anything. So basically this policy is a set of rules that the IT administrator can set themselves. For example, a lot of popular compliance policies are password compliance policies, which is a policy where users have to set a specific password. For example, it'll have to be a certain length. It'll have to use letters, numbers, special characters. You can only reuse a password so many times, and passwords will expire probably about once a month. It depends on what the administrator sets it to, but it's very malleable. And this is a very popular one because the biggest way data is compromised and devices are compromised is by passwords being stolen. And there's a lot of tools and softwares out there that attackers use to steal and hack into companies' passwords. And so our very popular compliance policy is the password compliance policy. Another good compliance policy is for antivirus. Administrators can choose to have certain antivirus settings applied to devices. And another good compliance policy is BitLocker, which checks to make sure that devices are encrypting their data on the hardware. So, because encrypted data, even if it does fall into the hands of an attacker, they can't do anything with it. It's all jumbled. It's all random letters and numbers, and they can't make anything out of it because it's encrypted. Data stays safe and private when it is encrypted. So these are three very popular, very important policies for security that IT administrators can implement. And the compliance policy, all it does is checks and makes sure that the devices have these set. But the next step is configuration profiles. Now, configuration profiles are different from compliance policies. These profiles actually give the administration the ability to enforce policies. Another popular configuration profile is endpoint security. This is a profile that gives administrators the ability to pick and choose any security option they want installed: antivirus, malware protection, ransomware protection. They can choose out of a plethora of options of security options to implement to devices. And actually, right here is an actual screenshot of Intune, and you can add account protection, hardware protection, device performance, all types of options you have when creating profiles. Now, a device can either be, when a device is following all these policies, they're considered to be compliant, which means they're following all the rules, they're good to go, they're under basically doing everything that the IT administrators ask of them to do. If a device is not, for example, say a user's password isn't long enough, it's not to the settings that the administration would like it to be, they're considered non-compliant, and non-compliant devices are subject to being unenrolled, essentially, which removes them from Intune, removes them from the network. They will have a difficult time accessing data on the network, and this is because non-compliant devices are a security risk, basically. So users will get a gentle warning, like in the form of an email, stating that they are non-compliant, and they will have an option to fix whatever the issue is, whether it be installing an antivirus program or updating their password to meet the standards to become compliant. Otherwise, they'll be removed, basically, just to eliminate any security risks. Another good profile is Microsoft has a update ring. This is used for administrators to force updates to users' computers and devices. Updates are important because they keep your system running with the latest software, with the latest bugs, bug fixes, and patches, which keep your devices secure. Older devices that are not running with the latest updates are susceptible to security attacks because they don't have the latest security updates. So with Update Ring, administrators can force users to update their systems. It'll give the user like a warning saying an update will proceed in 2 hours, and after that time limit, their devices will just update automatically on their own. So these configuration profiles and policies, it takes a lot of work away from the user, making it simpler for the user, and puts it into the hands of the IT staff. It gives them the ability to manage every aspect of security and makes the system makes the enterprise, makes MCC just a lot more safer and secure. So the benefits basically are increased security and safety of devices and data. Working from home during COVID, employees and IT staff have the ability to work from home and use their own devices, which actually saves costs when employees can use their own devices. And no need to use a VPN, which a lot of people forget to do. So the schedule for this proposal can take up to a year to fully implement Intune. We do this in portions. We don't deploy Intune all at once. We start with sections. So we'll start with the IT staff. We'll give them a month to create policies and profiles, and we'll give them a month to adhere to the policies and profiles, and then we'll move on to financial aid department, and then we'll give them a month, and then we'll move on to registration, and then we'll give them a month, and then we'll move on to the rest of the faculty. And during this time, we do expect high volume of calls to the tech support department because people are still figuring stuff out. People's, their password, they're still, they can't remember their password. They got to call, they got to reset it. Their device is showing up as non-compliant. During this time, it's going to be busy, and there's going to be a lot of traffic going to tech support. And the cost is $14.80 per user device per month. So with about 300 employees, the cost will come out to about $4,440 a month for Intune altogether. And that's about the end of this presentation, and thank you. Have a good day.